Following in the footsteps, an essential subject from Vinaypedia. The instructions of a pure devotee to his disciple are very simple. No one feels any difficulty in following in the footsteps of a pure devotee of the Lord. Anyone who follows in the footsteps of recognized devotees, such as Lord Brahm, Lord Eva, the Kumras, Manu, Kapila, King Pralda, King Janaka, Ukadeva Gosvem, Yamriya and their followers in disciplic succession, very easily finds the door of liberation open. On the other hand, those who are not devotees but are engaged in uncertain processes of self-realization, such as jnana, yoga and karma, are understood to be still contaminated and their path is filled with obstacles. Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures, conversations and letters offer a comprehensive presentation of this essential subject as seen in the Vinay quotes following in the footsteps category. An introduction from his books is given below in the following 13 quotes. Quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books. Out of these four classes of men, the last is praised by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. A person who tries to understand Krishna with full knowledge and devotion by following in the footsteps of previous serious conversant with scientific knowledge of the Supreme Lord is praiseworthy. Such a devotee can understand that all conditions of life, favorable and unfavorable, are created by the supreme will of the Lord. And when he has fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, he does not care whether his condition of life is favorable or unfavorable. Krishna Book, Chapter 87. Although Krishna was not present before her, Kant offered her prayers to him as if she were in his presence face to face. This is possible for anyone following in the footsteps of Kant. Krishna does not have to be physically present everywhere. He is actually present everywhere by spiritual potency, and one simply has to surrender unto him sincerely. Krishna Book, Chapter 49. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts our Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the GT following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demonic, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. Here is a warning about such misleading paths. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna, and thus be benefited by this great science of Armad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita 4.3. By studying Armad Bhagavatam, every intelligent man can get experience like that of Praldama Arya through the historical incidents mentioned in this great literature of spiritual knowledge. By following in the footsteps of Praldama Arya, one should gain thorough experience that all material opulence is perishable at every moment. Even this body, for which we try to acquire so many sensual pleasures, may perish at any time. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9. 24. The best process is to accept the instructions of the previous series and follow them. Then God realization and self-realization become extremely easy. By following this easy method, one is liberated from the contamination of the material modes of nature, and thus one can certainly cross the ocean of nescience, in which there are many miserable conditions. By following in the footsteps of the great Sirius, one associates with the Hasas or Paramahasas, those who are completely freed from material contamination. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9. 18. By following in the footsteps of the inhabitants of the planet known as Vrajaloka or Galoka Vyandivana, one can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of our Krishna. However, in that planet the inhabitants do not know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kaitanya Karitam Ta, Madhya LL 9.128. Devotional service following in the footsteps of the goddess of Vyandivana or the queens at Dvirak is called devotional service in conjugal love. This devotional service in conjugal love can be divided into two categories. One is indirect conjugal love, the other direct. In both of these categories, one has to follow the particular god who is engaged in such service in Galoka Vyandivana. To be directly attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love is technically called Keli. Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 16. The conjugal love between RDH and Krishna, which is called Yugalapiriti, is not understandable by mundane scholars, artists or poets. It is simply to be understood by devotees who strictly follow in the footsteps of the six Gosvamis. Sometimes so-called artists and poets try to understand the love affairs of RDH and Krishna, and they publish cheap books of poetry and pictures on the subject. Unfortunately, however, they do not understand the transcendental affairs of RDH and Krishna even to the smallest degree. They are simply meddling in a matter in which they are not fit even to enter. Kaitanya Karatam Ta, DLL 17.304. The last instruction of Lord R. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is that one should give up everything and should follow in the footsteps of the Lord alone. Less intelligent persons do not agree to this great instruction of the Lord, as ill luck would have it, but one who is actually intelligent catches up this sublime instruction and is immensely benefited. Foolish people do not know that association is the cause of acquiring qualities. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.12. 24. Krishna is called Maidana Mohana, which means that he is so attractive that he can defeat the attraction of thousands of cupids. But RDHR is still more attractive, for she can even attract Krishna. Therefore devotees call her Maidana Mohana Mohan, the attractor of Cupid. To perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of RDHR, and devotees in VND Vana put themselves under the care of RDHR in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 1. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. Bhagavad Gita 3.21 Narottama Dasa H. Kura states that one has to ascertain the right path for his activities by following in the footsteps of great saintly persons and books of knowledge under the guidance of a spiritual master. Astustra Guru Vikaya. A saintly person is one who follows the Vedic injunctions, which are the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word guru refers to one who gives proper direction under the authority of the Vedic injunctions and according to the examples of the lives of great personalities. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.21.2829, RLAJ Vagasvam, in his Bhakti Sandarbha 213, has clearly explained that a pure devotee's observation of the spiritual master and Lord Eva as being one with the personality of Godhead exists in terms of their being very dear to the Lord, not identical with him in all respects. Following in the footsteps of RLA Raghantha Sagasvam and RLA Vagasvam, later series like RLA Vivantha Kakravart H. Kura have confirmed the same truths. Kaitanya Karatam Ta, DLL 1.46.